We often come together and have conversations about things that truly take thought beyond where they have been before. But this one is especially satisfying today, not only because we've moved into some new places. Esther will so love listening back to this and finding all of the new pieces that she's wanting to highlight for you, but because it is established within so many of you a renewed interest in getting back to the basics of your vibrational frequency, sort of taking it out of your head and putting it more into your heart, so to speak, into the vibrational beingness. And because of the conversations that we've had, we know that you know that the grid will fill in with the details of life that you describe as meaningful physical reality. There's no separating non-physical from physical. And we've all come so far. You are out here on the leading edge, and that's the part that we think you got with greater clarity here today. That creation is happening here, and that Source is joining you here, and that this is where the party really is, and that there are times when you allow a full recognition of the bliss and beauty and perfection of you and of life, and there are times that you don't. And we think that if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would be reveling in this new knowledge. Jerry said to Esther the other day, and she heard him laughing so hard while he said it. She was asking him a business question, something specifically about something that she was wondering what to do about. And his words to her were, well, if I was standing in my physical shoes. And then she realized that he can stand all day if he wants to in her physical shoes, although she rarely does herself. In other words, there need be no separation from you and you. So as you are moving forward in the days that are before you, it is our desire that you pay attention, make the conscious correlation between the new things that are happening and the understanding that came over you here today. Because it is certain that your grid will fill in with things that are unique enough that you will recognize that they're happening because of what happened here. You see what we're getting at? And when you make that correlation, then we think that you'll deliberately go to work on your grid and then let the good times roll. Because there is nothing more exhilarating than for you to define something that you want by being aware of its absence. Recognize that its absence has caused an emotion within you that is the conjuring of a grid that isn't going to serve you, and then deliberately changing the vantage point, the vibrational vantage point at the basis, and doing it with such ease that it just is amazing to you that you hadn't thought of it sooner. And then to watch the precision with which the universe will proceed to deliver to you matching components to fill that in. And we promise you we will be there reveling with you in your conscious awareness that you created the basis and now the universe has cooperated. Your feeling of worthiness and your feeling of empowerment will come in proportion to the amount of emotional grids that you care to build. If we were standing in your physical shoes, and we often are, we would be making lists of positive aspects, and we would be reveling in the general perfection of your planet. We would awaken in the morning and speak our appreciation for the sun coming up, whether you can see it or not. We would acknowledge the perfection of your planet spinning in its orbit, whether you can see any other planets at that moment or not. We would feel appreciation for the intelligence of our physical body and for what the cells are doing, for what they know how to do. We would feel appreciation for the bed upon which we had slept and the pillow beneath our head. And we would bask in the deliciousness of the coverings upon our body. And we would acknowledge at the beginning of every day, this is a good day. I have such a good basis from which to begin. All is well with me. Source energy is aware of me and has my back. And everything that matters to me is known, and all things are lined up. And I'm on an eternal treasure hunt of treasures, because the universe knows what I seek and knows where those treasures are, and is pointing me on the path of least resistance to the adventure and the fun and the thrill that I have defined as my desire. It is so delicious to create with you. It is so fun to walk on your beaches and sleep in your beds and eat at your table and revel in your expansion, when all along what you were seeking was your natural and well-deserved joy. Life is supposed to be good for you, not just eventually, but right now. You're supposed to feel good, not just eventually, but right now. Everything that you're living right now is what life is. It's always right here, right now. Source isn't waiting around to live. Source is living right here, right now. Source is not waiting around to love. Source is loving right here, right now. And Source is wise enough to look for a reason to love through your eyes in every moment, and finding a reason to love through your eyes in every moment. The question is, are you up to speed with the love that Source is finding through your eyes right here, this moment? We think you're getting it. We think you're getting it. And now we're wanting you to understand that in your knowing what you don't want and your knowing what you do want, you are adding that which all that is knowing what it wants too. And all that is benefiting by what you've carved out and living it and wanting you to live it too. And you can, as long as you get your horse in front of your cart, which is to say, as long as you say, nothing is more important than I feel good. Today, no matter where I'm going, no matter what I'm doing, no matter who I'm doing it with, it is my dominant intent to see the world through the eyes of Source. And Source is saying back to you, and we are now seeing the world in a newly defined perspective because of what you just lived just now. And we are reveling in your new discovery. Come play with us here and now. We are eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you. There is nothing that is off limits. There is nothing that is inappropriate. Everything will be offered by you at the perfect unfolding in this co-creating at its best. We know that through all you've been living, you've been asking and asking and asking and asking. And we want you to know that everything that you want is already vibrationally queued up for you. Now, many of you, and this is your problem, really it is, aren't that happy about the vibrational queuing up. Just deliver the goods. I appreciate how much money is queued up, but until I can spend it, I'm not really that excited about it. I appreciate that there is a lover waiting for me, but until I can see this person, I'm not really that excited about the vibrational essence of this person. We know what you mean, but we want you to understand, if you can accept the vibrational cueing, if you can accept that vibrationally speaking, that the larger part of you has already become and is already experiencing these things that you desire, and you will get yourself more often into a mode of appreciation, what you will begin to discover is you will have more and more rendezvous with more and more physical things that will give you the evidence of that which you are reaching for. It's so nice when you start recognizing consciously the vibrational formation even before it is a manifestation. So now we want to talk about what is a manifestation. Is a manifestation a materialization? In other words, does the money have to show up? Does the person have to show up? Does the condition have to change? Does the work have to show up? What is the manifestation? And we want to get you to stretch just a little bit with us into the vibrational understanding, because everything that you want, no matter what it is, whether it's a material object or a relationship or a bodily condition, a circumstance, an event, everything that you want without exception is because you want the feeling that you believe you will have, the good feeling that you believe that you will have in the having of that materialization. And we are not for a moment trying to talk you out of or guide you around or slow you down from your manifestations. This is a physical world you've come forth to manifest. This leading edge time-space reality where all of us are focused right here out on the leading edge with you is for manifestation. And we want you to know that because we can see the materialization of that which you are reaching for, when you tune to that which is us, you will be able to see it too. It's a fine line for so many of you because you say, I don't just want the essence of it, I want it. I just don't want the feeling of it. I want to have it so that I can have a feeling response to it. And we say, there's the rub for you right there. You want the manifestation or the materialization so that you can have a response to it. And we want you to figure out how to have the response to what we are already knowing, a response to what we are already seeing, a response to the reality that you've already created. And once you are having the feeling response to the vibrational version of it, the manifested, actualized version of it must appear to you. Because in this leading edge environment, that's the only difference, friends, between the leading edge and the not the leading edge. The leading edge is where stuff manifests. Do you get it? The leading edge is where stuff manifests. But you want the good stuff to manifest, which means you got to focus on the good stuff. And we want you to understand that the source within you and all who love you, and there are more than you can count and more than we can name, are focused with you out here in this leading edge moment, rooting for your modification of your vibration just enough that you will begin to feel. You will begin to feel. You will begin to feel the manifestation forming, and you will take satisfaction from it even before you're able to see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it. That's really the key. Your emotions are all about feeling, aren't they? When you talk about emotions, aren't you talking about feelings? We are. When we talk about your emotions, we're talking about your feelings, you see. But when we began today, we told you that it was co-creating at its best, and we have certainly filled in that grid together, haven't we? It's exhilarating for us to focus with you out here on our leading edge. Not just your leading edge, our leading edge. While you are stirring up the details that are bringing desires into focus. And we want to acknowledge that the desire that exists as a result of this mass consciousness here in these physical bodies. And we're not just talking about humans, we're talking about all of the consciousness in all that exists. Bringing desire to a heightened point, higher than ever before. More summoning. In other words, friends, most substantial grid ever. And then as individuals of consciousness, we each get to play the role that we choose in allowing the grid to fill in. Our knowledge of your well-being is enough to sustain it. No matter what you do, you can't mess it up.